Sup you guys, ASD Classified here. So yeah, I'm still watching Super Megaforce. I guess it's just the completionist in me, but make no mistake, I'm not going to be doing nearly as many reviews of this as I would have been if this show was actually, good. So yeah, I'm really going to be cherry picking my reviews for the rest of this season. I mean, the only reason I'm doing a review of this episode is because it was actually good. Like, I actually enjoyed it, so yeah, let's talk about that. So this episode starts off with Jake on the soccer field doing soccer tricks and Noah recording him. Wow! After 26 episodes, they remembered that Jake actually has a hobby and he does things other than fight all the time. Wowzers! It's like the whole beginning of this episode I loved actually, because Jake and Noah were just talking as friends and acting like actual teenagers. Like, what a novel concept, you guys. I can't believe it. Meanwhile, up in space with our evil villains, His Majesty Prince Vakar put Lavira in charge of coming up with a plan to destroy the Power Rangers once and for all. So, while Lavira is trying to hatch a plan, she's spying on Jake and Noah, from the spaceship. And she's watching them and she's like, what are those Rangers up to? It's like, Jake, he's kicking the soccer ball around. Like, we're seeing the same thing. He's kicking the soccer ball. Like, what are you talking about? What is he up to? Like, anyway. So the villains have also hired a new butler. Yes, they hired a butler. And when this guy appeared on the ship and he saw Lavira, he's like, Lavira is my childhood crush. I can't believe it. Like, I can't believe we're both in the same place. So he sees this childhood crush of his. He's clearly still in love with her. So instead of just asking her out on a date or something, he's just like, well, let me just spike her drink. So he goes to make her some tea and he puts a love potion in her drink. The butler comes back into the room where Lavira is to give her her drink, and when he comes back in, she's still watching Jake and Noah on her screen, and she's like, what are those Rangers up to now? They're still kicking the soccer ball around. Like, what are you talking about? Like, this dialogue, man, like, this episode had plenty of questionable and shitty dialogue in it. Note that I still like this episode, but man, like, what are you, they're playing soccer, like, what are you talking about? Like, I get it, you're aliens, so you don't know all of Earth's customs and sports, but like, they're kicking the damn ball, nothing has changed. Anyway, so the butler brings Lavira her drink. She drinks it, and how this love potion is supposed to work is that once a person drinks it, the first person they see, they fall in love with. So Lavira drank the drink, and the first person she saw was Jake, because she was still looking at the screen. So yeah, this spell backfired on the butler, because Lavira is now in love with Jake. Yeah. The butler didn't realize this at first. He thought that his potion worked and Lavira was now in love with him. So then Lavira asks the butler to do a job for her. She wants the butler to capture Jake. And he's like, yes, my love, anything for you. So the butler, Invidious, and a bunch of X-Borgs show up on that soccer field and they try to kidnap Jake. So Jake and Noah put up a decent fight until the rest of the Rangers show up to help them, minus Orion. Orion wasn't in this episode at all, actually. And honestly, who the fuck cares? Like, I didn't even notice until somebody on Ranger Board pointed it out. Like, who cares? I sure didn't. He wasn't needed in this episode. So yeah, all 5 of the Rangers, they fought off Invidious and the X-Borgs. Yeah, so they started off with their regular Megaforce powers, and then they went to Super Mega Mode, and then they played the entire sequence of them going to Super Mega Mode. So we had to look at all 5 Rangers turn their keys to go to Super Mega Mode. So And then we had to watch each separate sequence of them turning into Super Mega Mode. Gotta be kidding me. Oh my god, it's like the definition of padding. Like, you clearly, like, did you not write enough story? Like, we really had to sit through this. So yeah, that happened. And then they went into Legendary Ranger mode, Mighty Morphin. And yes, the nostalgia really got me. Like, that scene really just, it was just an enjoyable watch. Just to see those suits kicking ass. Yeah, not getting their asses kicked, kicking ass. It really just made it for me. Like, I just loved it, man. Power lance, power daggers, power axe, power bow, power sword. Classic. My childhood, baby. So yeah, and then when Troy went to go hit the monster with the power sword, I love that scene. Like, he slashed him once and the monster was just talking all this shit. Like, man, that didn't even tickle. He said, what about this? Say, yep, that hurt. Okay. Loved it. And then the monster just ran away after that. Like, I'll be back, you know. So the monster ran away. And then even after that scene, like, the Rangers, they were looking for the monster, like, running after him. And they were looking for him throughout the city, still in their Mighty Morphin suits. And then they just demorphed. Like, I really liked that. Like, it's like, in Super Megaforce and a little bit in Gokaiger even, like, they did like super quick transformations where you didn't really get to look at the legendary suits that much. Like, the transition was so quick. Oh, let's turn to this suit, then let's turn to that one, then let's turn to that one. And the only time you really got to enjoy seeing the suits for a long period of time is when they were doing a tribute episode. Well, Super Megaforce doesn't do that many tribute episodes. So the suits, they turn, they do these really quick transformations, then there's something else, then they're a team we never even fucking seen before. So it's nice that the Mighty Morphin suits kind of stayed a little bit longer, like maybe like 3 minutes instead of 30 seconds, you know. So it was pretty obvious that the monsters were just after Jake and not anybody else. So after they demorphed, they decided to discuss this. You know, Gia was asking Jake, why were they just after you? And Jake, you know, he didn't know, clearly, duh. And then Troy's like, well, did they say what they wanted with you? Didn't he just say he doesn't know why they were just after him? So why would he know why they want him? Let's say it's the same damn question. Stupid dialogue. So the Rangers, they were remembering some of the dialogue that the butler had said. He's like, I'm here to capture you for her. And it's like, for her? Who is that? I guess like another lady monster or something? And it's like, well, why are they trying to capture Jake though? And Emma's like, well, maybe it's because Jake is cute. I love that. It's just, I feel that if Jake would have fell in like with Emma, he would have had such an easier time than what's going on between him and Gia. Like, I feel like Emma would have been like, dude, you clearly like me. Do you want to go on a date? And they would have been dating right now. And they would have been in a relationship. And Jake, I mean, yeah, he probably would have been bored in this relationship because Emma just wants to talk about how beautiful the earth is. But at least he'll have somebody to kiss on and something, you know. So Invidious eventually realizes that his love potion didn't work the way he wanted and that Lavera is actually in love with Jake. So he goes back to Earth and tries to kill Jake. And then Lavera goes down to Earth to protect Jake. And then she's over here, like, Lavera's like dragging Jake around like a rag doll and shit, trying to protect him from Invidious. And then eventually the Rangers have to get into the battle and they have a very long transformation into their Megaforce suits. Not their Super Mega mode or Legendary mode, their Megaforce suits. We had to literally watch the entire transformation to Megaforce suits. Padding, padding, padding. See, some fans wonder why they're even using the Megaforce suits anymore because they're really obsolete and they don't even need them to go into Super Mega mode. Here's the thing. I have an idea why they're using those suits. Because there's going to be a two-parter where Varak comes back. And I bet you anything that in this two-parter they will not be going into Super Mega mode or Legendary mode, because I feel like that episode is just going to utilize some old ass Ghost Sager footage. So they're going to be in Megaforce mode the entire time, and you might even see Ultra mode again. Yeah. And we're just gonna forget that Super Mega Mode ever existed for those 2 episodes. Mark my words. So yeah, so that's the reason why they're still using those Megaforce suits, but that's still no reason for padding out that long transformation sequence, but whatever. Yeah, the Rangers, they fight the monster. They even turn into Power Rangers Turbo. So nice to see Power Ranger suits in a Power Ranger Anniversary season. The Rangers, they defeat the monster. Principal Carl makes the monster giant size. And then Jake takes it upon himself to talk to the giant monster. He's like, dude, cut the jealousy act. If you want this monster lady, just ask her out on a date. And then the giant monster actually asks Lavera out on a date. And she accepts. She's like, well, I do like strong giant men, or something like that, she said. That sounds a little awkward, but yeah. Point is, Lavera, she said, yeah, I'll go on a date with you. And he's like, what can I do to impress you? And she's like, destroy the Rangers. So yeah, and Jake was like, well, that backfired. And so yeah, the Rangers, they caught the Zords and they ended up defeating the monster. And they even did the Turbo Megazord spin out attack, but they didn't call it that. Missed opportunities. I wish they should have called it something like, I don't know, Legendary Megazord spin out, like Anniversary season. Use the nostalgia. So yeah, whatever. They defeated the monster. I guess the love spell on Lavera just wore off when the monster asked her on a date because there was no antidote given. So at the end of the episode, Jake, Gia, Troy, and Emma were all at Ernie's brain freeze. And then Emma said, you know, Jake, that advice you gave to the monster about just asking the person you like out, you know, maybe you should take your own advice and ask the person that you like out on a date. So Jake finally was about to ask Gia out. Like, he really was about to do it. He even got some of the words out. And then Noah just came barging in. He's like, oh, guys, check this out, check this out. Completely ruined the moment that we've been waiting so long for. Great. And what was so important? Well, early in the episode, you know, Noah was recording Jake doing all these soccer tricks. He actually uploaded the video of this online and it went viral. Yeah, Jake's video got 6 million views. And so they were all just looking at that and like, oh, Jake, that's awesome. Congratulations, you know. So yeah, and that's how the episode ended. Yeah. So when I first saw that ending scene of Jake being cock-blocked, it didn't bother me at first. Because at first I'm like, oh, well, maybe after, you know, they see what Noah has to show them, Jake will ask Gia out then. He didn't do that. And then I still didn't get mad because I'm like, well, maybe they'll continue this the next episode. And then I remembered what season I was watching. And I'm like, they're not going to continue this at all. I hate how they handle Jake and Gia. Like, I really hate it. It's like this updated version of Zach and Angela, but done terribly, terribly wrong. Because Zach and Angela actually went on dates. Multiple dates. Jake and Gia haven't done shit. So I just hate how they handle them. So whatever. But yeah, this episode overall, I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. I laughed. I even laughed at some of the stupid stuff. I just enjoyed it. It felt like Power Rangers for once. It had the characters actually acting like characters and teenagers for once. So yeah, it's a good one in my eyes. It's just the only thing that really brings the episode down for me is that ending. It's just Noah cock blocking Jake, and then Noah's probably making all that AdSense money off of that 6 million viewed video. So Noah cost Jake a girlfriend and is making money off of Jake's video. That is just, Noah's a terrible friend. A terrible friend. So yeah, I feel like if Jake actually asked Gia out in this episode, I would have gave it a 4 on that alone. Because we have been waiting for so long. But he didn't do that. But yeah, I still enjoyed the episode, so I'm giving it a 3 out of 5. So, yay. Another thing that could have improved this episode, if they actually made it a tribute episode. Because you know the Japanese version was a tribute to Car Ranger, which is our Power Rangers Turbo. You can't tell me they didn't have room because they spent so much time padding this episode with morph sequences, long dragged out morph sequences, and then they used, I'm not even about to touch the random Japanese lady they brought into this episode for no reason, but like dubbed over, not an American Japanese lady or anything like that, no, footage from Super Sentai that they dubbed over terribly in this episode for no reason. But yeah, there's a lot of padding in this, and they could have took all that out and put a tribute to Power Rangers Turbo somewhere in this. I don't know how, but you could have did it. You could have brought the Phantom Ranger in this episode. Wouldn't it have been awesome? It would have been awesome to see the Phantom Ranger again in this episode with love potions. So I don't know. You could have did anything. I'll take what I can get. So like I said, I enjoyed it overall. So if you're watching this review, what did you think about this episode of Power Rangers Super Megaforce? Let me know in a comment if you want. So yeah, thanks for watching. Jamata.